Welcome to allfreecrochet.com's learning channel. Come to our website for thousands of free patterns and inspiring ideas. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our website to continue to receive free patterns and crafting deals. Your video host Mikey is now standing by to give you another free tutorial. Welcome back to allfreecrochet.com. In today's tutorial we're going to be working on baby cardigan sweaters, and these are in demand by charities across the globe. We're going to be working on a pattern by Deb's Crafts, and her pattern is in the more information link of this video, so if you want to go there and get the written direction you can. I'd probably recommend you go there anyway and print it out so you can follow along. And what we're going to just do is that I'm going to convert that pattern by switching down the material to be thinner, as well as a smaller hook. Instead of H, I'm going to do an F, and I'm going to convert her sweater into a preemie sweater, which is higher in demand than just regular baby sweaters. So today, on behalf of Crafting for a Cure, our official charity of choice, as well as Deb's Crafts, Creative Festival, and allfreecrochet.com, we're going to work together in order to give you this free tutorial so you can make a difference for your charity of choice, or help me make a difference with Crafting for a Cure. Before I remove the example that we see on the screen here, think about the sweater as in three parts and what you see right now. You have part 1, which is the body, and you have part 2, which is one sleeve, and part 3, which is another. And if you want to add a hoodie, then that would be part 4, which this one actually does. And if you wanted to convert this into a dress, that would be part 5. As well as, I'm going to show you exactly where you can actually start going around. Instead of having buttons, you can just have it being a pullover and just a couple buttons over the top in order to get it over your baby's head. Today's sweater is being made by King Cole Hayes, and it's double knitted, and this is by Estelle Yarns as well. And you can see that it's 100% acrylic, 534 yards, and I found that you can probably get 2 sweaters out of this simple ball of yarn. So let's begin this tutorial in order to get started. So let's create a slip knot. I should tell everybody I am following Deb's Crafts pattern to a T here in order to get all the dimensions right, and I have converted it down to an F hook with thinner yarn in order to make it smaller. You can make her sweaters bigger or smaller by just changing the hook and the material. So she's calling for a chain of 52. Remember that the one on your hook is not considered 1, so we wanted to do 52. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and continue all the way to 52. Okay, now that we have our 52 on board, she's asking us now to go back to the 4th stitch. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we want to double crochet ourselves into that particular one, just like so. So we're just going to double crochet ourselves as normal, and then what she's asking us to do now is to double crochet into the next 5. Okay, so let's do that. So just going along. So this is 1, 2, 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Okay, so now what she's saying is to do a V stitch. Okay, so let's review a V stitch. So in the very next chain, do a V. So double crochet in, okay, as you normally would. Okay, and then she's saying a V, so we're going to chain 1 and then go into that very same stitch. Okay, so you have 2 coming out of 1, and so it's called the V because the chaining of the 1 just caused it to separate. And now what she's asking us to do is to go 9 double crochets in a row. So let me just reset my hook again. Looking for it. So going in, and we want to do 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll meet you back up at 9. Okay, so we're now on number 9, just completing that. And what I strongly recommend is that you actually go back, see where the V stitch is that you just did. Okay, it's right there. Count back, not from the ones that are in the V, but the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's really important that you get these counts off to the start of this project. Okay, so the very next one, we've got our 9 in, is going to be another V stitch in. Okay, so 1 double crochet, 1 chain, 1 double crochet into the same hole, and now she's asking us to do 14 double crochets in a row. So going on the chain, let's do 14. So let's go again, and I'll meet you back up on the other side. Okay, so I'll meet you back up after the 14, I'm sorry. Okay, we now have our 14 in. Make sure you do count. So what we're going to just do the next stitch, now that we got our 14 in, the next stitch will be another V. Okay, so let's put in our V. So 1 double crochet, and I missed it completely, sorry. So it's going to be a V, so 1 double crochet. The chaining is always the hard one, as we can all appreciate. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the same hole. Now we're actually on the other side of the top of the sleeve, so the 9 that you did is on top of the sleeve, so we're going to do another 9 on this side in order to be on the top. It's very critical you start off properly. If you don't start off properly with the amount of stitches over top of the back as well as over top of the sleeves, you'll end up with a sweater that is completely lopsided, and you think, oh, it won't make a difference, but it's amazing when you're doing baby's clothing that one stitch off can make the world of difference. So make sure you go 9, and we'll meet back up again. Okay, we now have our 9 in, so the next one is going to be a V stitch. Okay, so double crochet, chain, double crochet in, and now what we're going to just do is double crochet ourselves all the way to the end. So okay, so what happens if one of your front panels is not aligned with the other? Well, that's actually kind of a neat thing, because if you're doing a cardigan, for example, you could it actually is probably helpful anyway, because it'll provide an overlap. When I design my own sweaters, I like the front to have a generous overlap. It's nothing worse than trying to get a sweater and the buttons look like they're about to pop open. So it's sometimes having that overlap is actually a really good thing. So the hard part of this sweater is now done for the next several rows, and we'll meet back up in just a few seconds as we begin to do and show you what you need to do next for now row number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's rotate that now, going backward in the other direction. You're going to notice you got kind of like a point going on. You'll notice that the material is slightly bending, and that's because you provided the V stitches into this bad boy. So what I want you to do now is that we want to double crochet ourselves all the way back. So in order to start, just chaining up 3. And remember, double crochet about the post. So this post matches that post, so the very next one is over top of this next one. See? We cover that in the fundamentals of learning how to crochet. So we're going to double crochet ourselves all the way back till we get to the first V stitch that is in the line below it, and I'm going to show you what we need to do. This is actually the top of the baby sweater, and what we need to do is keep the formation of the sleeves happening, and where the V stitches are going on is where the actual sleeves and the shoulders are taking effect. And as we work our way through more of this tutorial, you'll be able to understand that. So I'm now at the point of the first V stitch. Okay, so this is where the V is down here. So what I want to do is I want to match the same V stitch right in top into this big section. So going right into the section, not the stitch, going right into the hole, double crochet 1, chain 1, and double crochet. Okay, so that we've just put a V stitch in right where the other V stitch is. And now the very next one available is where we're going to double crochet ourselves until we get to the next V stitch. So every time on this row that you end up with the V stitch, you want to match it. So we'll just do one more and then I'll set you off. This is row number 2, ladies and gentlemen, as well. So if you're following along in the pattern. And you'll notice that every time you do a row now, your material is growing more and more because of the V-stitch formation. Okay, and we're now at the next V-stitch. Do you see it there? And so we want to match it. So every time, let's double crochet ourselves all the way across. Every time you see a V-stitch, match it with another V-stitch right over top of it and carry along. So we'll meet you back up when we start row number 3. So here's my written directions, and what I just do is I write down some numbers that I can check off, and we've just done number 2, and number 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be identical to what we just did. So now all we need to do is just chain up 3 and then double crochet ourselves all the way through this line to the V where we're going to match it with a V, and we want to do that every time you run into a V. So do that for rows number 3, 4, 5, and 6, where we'll meet back up, and then we'll start forming the actual armhole. We've just finished row number 6, and this is what it looks like, and you're thinking to yourself, Mikey, how does this look like a sweater? Well, what I want you to picture is this here, and this here is actually being top of the shoulders. So on row number 7 we're going to now actually start forming the shape, and the wonderful thing about row number 7 is that we are going to eliminate this whole section out from crocheting and this whole section, so therefore you just got here and here and here. So it actually starts making your project go a lot more faster. So let's begin row number 7. Okay, so we're going to start row number 7 like we had before, just chaining up 3 and double crocheting ourselves, and we want to double crochet ourselves all the way to the first V-stitch available. So while we're doing that, to just talk to you for a little bit, the reason why I really love this pattern is the simplicity of putting things together. There are a lot of patterns available on the market where you got to actually sew things together, and one thing I love about Deb's pattern here is that there's not a lot of sewing to do, and just the sleeves and the hoodie, if you wanted to do that, is all that is required in order to make this project successful. So we're now approaching the first V-stitch, and what we're working on right now is actually the front panel of the sweater, and we are now on the first V. Okay, so what I want you to do now is wrap the material and stick your hook through, and what I want you to do is take this piece here and fold it backward like so. Okay, and when you fold it backward, look for the V that's over on this side here and stick your hook through. Okay, so this is what you have, and grab the material and pulling it through where you folded everything, so you end up with double crochet again, and 2 and 2, and now turn it. Okay, and we have just basically fastened the two sections together just like so. This is the sleeve, and now we're going to work our way across this as we go through the back. Okay, so if you actually wanted to do a partial like a vest, then would be where you would do it, right? Also too, at this point, if you wanted to make it a pullover, instead of just stopping in the center of the cardigan, when we get around there, you can actually just skip your way across and start forming a solid panel on the other side as well. You just have to be a little cautious that when you do that, you are going to have to slip stitch things together, and where you're going to do that, you're going to have to decide. And I think when you slip stitch right on the front of something, it kind of can look hideous. So what I would recommend, if you're going to do a pullover idea, I'd probably worry about that at the very end of bringing the panels together in the front instead of actually doing it right as I'm speaking right now. But again, your creativity is up to you and how you want to pursue it. So we're making our way across the back of the sweater, and I know it's the back because it is the very center point of the actual U that we're working on right now. And we're going to do the exact same thing when we get to this V here. That's coming up in just a few seconds. I love the speed of these particular projects as well. They're just really quite simple. Okay, so we got one more to go, and then we're in the V. So again, we're in the V, so just wrap, going into the V, fold, again, behind you, and make sure the hook goes through the other V that's available. Grab the material and pull it through, and then pull through 2 and 2, and then rotate, and again, just continuing along the front. So you can see you've just created the most fabulous little sleeves ever. And it's really hard when you're thinking about this tutorial, how is everything going together, but when you see it done visually like this, you totally can get the concept. Okay, so this is row number 7. So as what we're going to just do is that we're going to just come to the end, and I'm going to kick you off, and we're going to do rows number 8 to 16, and that'll be done in a jiff. So now that you've eliminated the sleeve area completely out, that's areas that you don't have to crochet, so you'll find yourself going faster and faster as you begin to wind down on this project. So coming right to the edge. Let's rotate our material again. So there you go. There's the sleeves, and this is actually upside down at this point. This is the actual top of the, or the bottom. And now what I want you to do is, this is going to be row number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Just basically do what you've done before. Just chain up 3 when you get to an edge, and then double crochet yourselves all the way across. So please do this for rows number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 and 16, and we'll meet back up where we're going to have the body then complete, and we can start one of the sleeves. Okay, so here we have the sweater, and now it has an opening at the front, and the back is actually just normal, just like so. So now what we want to do is I want to put some trim and border on it, and you can use the same color if you wish. I decided I'm not going to. I'm also noticing that I think that the neck is a little bit too open for a preemie baby, so I'm going to close it off a little bit further, and I'm going to show you my technique in doing that. And what we're going to do is switch over to the haze, and we're going to do white, and it's a haze white, and we're going to do all the way around the border with this stuff, and we're going to concentrate on the sleeves afterward. So let's get started on that. So I'm going to start off in the bottom corner of the actual sweater. Doesn't matter what side that you want to start on, and you want to create a slip knot with your next color. You can also make it the same colors if you wish. So I want to just stick in my hook, okay, right in the end, and I want to grab the loose end, and I want to grab the 2, the white, okay, and I want to wrap it and pull it through, okay, and I just want to now drop the color one, so drop the pink down. If I go up any higher, you're going to notice it, it's going to bleed through. It's going to look like a bleed through. So this will be number 2, okay, and so I'm using the white at the same time, both of them, because you can. Okay, so we want to use the pink now to kind of stabilize it and hide the color. So I want to just follow along the edge all the way across the bottom. Look what I'm doing with the actual pink. I'm going in, making sure the pink is on top, just like so, wrapping it and going through. And essentially what I'm just doing is I'm really trapping that loose end into effect, so because if you try to cut it too short, it will fall out. So this way you can actually cut it somewhere down along the stream, and you don't have to worry about a loose end showing up. So go all the way across the bottom. We'll meet up in the first corner when we go to turn up and start working up through one of the sides. We're now coming up to the first corner that we're doing, and what I want you to do is I want you to finish the corner like it's a regular granny square corner. Okay, so let's go into the very corner stitch and put in 3. So 1, so 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, and then we want to turn the corner like we would, so 1 and 2 chains, and then back into the same corner again for 3 more. So you can successfully turn. So what I'm about to show you here is that we're now along the front of the panel. So now we don't really have stitches to grab onto, but we have to be very, very careful here that we're not grabbing in the spaces too many times, because what will happen is that the spaces will jump out too fast. So going into the very first, so what I want you to do, don't grab into a space immediately, grab into where there's already material laying. Okay, so do you see that there's actually material underneath the white there that is actually holding? Okay, so that's 1. Okay, and what I want you to just do is just grab somewhere in the middle. Okay, so just make sure you grab in between some stitching, and then again to the there. Okay, so you see where we're grabbing that? We don't ever want to grab into a gap, because it really will separate it out, and you can see it so clearly when your child is wearing it, that it's actually quite astounding how obvious it is. So just work your way along the front. So each basically section, so if you're noticing, the next one will be right in the middle here. Okay, and then the next one is right in between the rows. Okay, so middle and in between, and do that all the way. We'll meet back up on the upper side where we're going to start doing the collar area. Okay, we're now coming up on the corner, the first corner coming up on the one side of this sweater. And you're going to really start seeing that the border really makes a tremendous impact for how your sweater is going to start appealing. You may even want to stop and not even do any sleeves and do a sleeveless kind of jacket idea. And you're going to notice that there's some loose string now, and that's exactly where we started. And you can see that I've not told you to do anything with that yet. And now we're going to come up on the very edge. So we want to make sure that we don't want to go into a whole gapping area. We want to make sure we stay within stitch lines. Okay, so just like you see. And now I'm going to hold down this pink, and I want to start trapping it into effect. Okay, so we want to trap it in. So that was 1, and we want to do a granny square corner, like so. Double crochet again, 2, double crochet again, 3, and then 1, 2, and come back into the same hole for another 3 more double crochets. So that pink, a loose end, is getting trapped in as we're going along. And now what you're going to notice is that this edge was not a foundation, it was just a simple chain, and it gets a lot easier now from going forward. So what we can do now is that we can just go in between the gaps. It's okay at this point. Go in the gap and double crochet. Okay, I'm going to retry it. Oh, I got it. Okay, so gap. So just separating it out, it's just go right into the gap. There's not enough chain to grab onto because it's not a foundation row. And so I told you before that the neck opening was a little bit too wide in my opinion. And so what I want to start bringing it in and bringing it more narrow. And we're going to use the white in order to do so. Okay, so right where you see the 2 V stitches, we want to practice 2 together 1, which is about doing the upside down V. So going into the next one, grabbing in, pulling it through, pull through 2 and hold. Going on to the other side of the V, so not inside the V but on the other side, grabbing it. Okay, 2, pull through 2 and hold. You'll now have 3 and together. Okay, so now you've just created the V shape again over top of the other one. So instead of growing bigger and growing misshape, it's actually brought it more narrow again. So let's work across the top of the shoulder. So every time there's a transition, okay, we want to make sure that we get that upside down V situation going. I'm going to probably suggest as well, because we do want to bring in the top narrower, probably doing 2 layers of white along the top. So let's review that again. So wrapping, going into the one before the V, pull through 2 and hold. Going on after the V, pull through 2 and hold, and then pull through all 3. And you got your upside down V again. And now we're going to work along the back. So we're going to go all the way around on this particular bad boy, but we're going to come back and we're going to do an extra layer of white on the top, and also considering to doing that upside down V again as we bring the top in more narrower. So the upside down V is a great way to make things expand but also make things contract depending where it appears on your project. Okay, looking for the V. We got, okay, so go into the next one, pull through 2 and hold. On the other side of the V, pull through 2 and hold, and pull through all 3. And carry along. I have to say these colors by Hayes, Estelle Yarns, is actually really quite magnificent. I wasn't really paying attention to the name of the yarn when I was in the store, and then I got it home and I said, it's not really blue and it's not really pink. It's almost like it's surrounded by a cloud. And then I looked at the name Haze again. I'm like, it really does look like haze when you're in person. Okay, we're looking for the V shape again. We got one more to go before we can start doing that. So looking for the V, so we go on the one side, pull through and hold, and the other side, pull through and hold, and together. Okay, so we're now on the other side of the top of the front panel. Remember, your creativity is up to you on what colors you want to use and exactly how you want this to all go down. You could have actually done 2 in each one to cause like a frilly top as well. So on the corner, we don't want to go into the gap. We want to go into sections of the stitch and do your granny square again. Granny square turn, so it's 3 double crochets, 2 chain, 3 double crochets. Okay, and we want to come along and do exactly what we did on the other line. Okay, so we don't want to go into the gap, we want to go right into in between stitching. Okay, and again right into the corner section in between the 2 lines. This one's actually pretty close together, but that's okay. Okay, the next one is in between, so just right into the section of the stitching. And then right in between again, and do that all the way down. We'll meet back at the bottom, and we will have circled the entire thing by the time we get to the bottom. Okay, we're now about to finish off, and we're now met back up with where we were before. You remember how we've been doing the granny square corners? We also have to make sure we do that here, and remember that we started off and we only did 1 in there. So we have to make up for that when we go back around now. So we can classify that we already have 1 in. Okay, so what we have to just do is just do 3 double crochets in a row right into the same hole that the other piece is in that we started off with. Okay, 2 chain, 1 and 2, and now if this is considered 1, then all we have to do is make up for the other 2. So 1 and 2. And now we want to slip stitch and bring it all together. So and how we do that, we just put our hook into the next top of the next stitch, which is the starting point, grabbing the material, pulling it through and through. And we can just trim. These scissors are by Westcott, and they're extremely sharp. They actually scare me because they're so sharp. Okay, so going through, and we just want to finish this off, and we can do a lot better job. We're going to tidy up our loose ends, but I just don't want this to come out at this particular point. And now this is exactly what we have. So we have our little jacket. The white now has caused the front layer to overlap with each other, just like you see. So if it pulled out, you can see that there's white on both sides as well. And if you wanted to do a pullover, then on the other side you can just attach these up partially the way and then just put a button at the top. And so therefore this is what you have so far. So what we're going to do now is that I'm going to add another layer of white to here and bring it off a little more narrower at the top. And I just think that's a smart idea in order to do, because I just don't think the baby's head is going to be this large. So we're going to attach the white back onto the top collar area. Okay, and I just want to go in right into the corner piece, just like so. Grabbing both of the strings, the loose end and the good yarn, pulling it through, wrapping both of them, putting it through, and just grabbing the good yarn now. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, so that where we attached it was B1. So let's just go all the way around again with the white. Okay, and we want to, so I put in 2 there, just so you know. And we just want to start going in. So where we did the V's before, we're going to do the V again to make sure it condenses more sooner. So what happens if you didn't do a V? What's going to happen is that the collar is going to open up like a flower instead of closing down, which is my whole sense of purpose for here as well. And this also gives opportunity to be able to flip this and actually make it look more like a tuxedo collar too, if you wish. So it's kind of versatile in its ideas. So looking where the V is coming up, and we're going to do the same concept. Okay, so we got one more to go. Okay, so this is the V on the one side, V on the other. Okay, so this is a V, so we're going to go in, pull through, and then on the other side of the V, in, pull through two, and together. Okay, so the V is now together, and I want you to do that all the way across the top, and as you run into the V's, do that, and we'll meet back up where we fasten the collar off completely. Okay, we're coming across the top and we're just about done on the other side. And remember what we did on the other side, that we put 2 right into the corner, so we chained up 3 all together, and then we double crocheted 1 into the corner. And what we're going to do on this side is going to make sure that we finish with 2 double crochets right in the corner itself. So 1 and 2. And what we're going to do is fasten off, so get in your Westcott scissors or equivalent. Pulling it through, and I want to give that a nice little tie. And again, we don't have to worry about all of these loose ends until we get closer to the final of this project, where we start to fasten off and really clean up. So let's look at what we have so far. So I did the top there, and actually it leaves opportunity for actually doing some nice border work as well that we can do. And let's now start beginning to do the sleeves. We're now going to begin to do the sleeves, and we just want to create a slip knot using the pink again, because I want the sleeves to be the same color. And what I want to do is I want to go in where it's actually connected together. Okay, so going right in. Okay, this is considered in between the 2 V-stitch, and I want to put on my loop like so, and I want to pull through, and we want to chain up 3. Okay, so I'm going to grab both pieces of material at the same time, the loose end and the actual material we're working with. So that will be, so this is already considered 1, 2, and 3. So by just grabbing both yarns at the same time, it really does help secure that in. So the secret now is that you just have to follow along the pattern. Okay, so let's go along, and so then that chaining of 3 actually counts as 1 double crochet. Okay, so let's go in. So this is number 2. It is highly critical, ladies and gentlemen, that you get the stitch counts right when it comes to the sleeves. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, I'm going to redo 8. 8. That's 9. 10. She's calling for 22 stitches. This is 11. It's critical you get all 22 in this spot. This is 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. And 22. It is critical. If you did not get 22 in all the way around, just throw in some extra stitches before you slip stitch. It is highly critical, because on the other side, if you don't keep account of that and your other sleeve is off by 1 stitch, it sticks out like a sore thumb, and trust me when I say that. So that was row number 1 out of 10 on the sleeve. So between rows 2 and 10 now is going to be all the same. So let's again chain up 1. So 1, 2, 3, so chaining up, and again let's get in your 22. So that was 1, okay, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is 8, 9, this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Making sure we get all 22 in there before you slip stitch again. So continue to do that with rows number 3 to 10. We'll meet back up, and the final row is number 11, where we'll single crochet ourselves all the way around. And that's what we have. So if you wanted a short sleeve, you could probably do a couple more and call it quits as well. So it's up to you. You're the creator. You decide what you want. Okay, so we're now finishing up the sleeve, and this is row number 10 that we're just finishing. And what you can do, okay, here's some options for you in case you want to go on. So we're going to slip stitch as I normally have been all along. You can either chain up one and single crochet all the way around, or you can trim it like I'm going to do, and I'm going to match the very cuff of this actual sleeve to match the white. So let's grab our white back in. Again, you can be very creative on what you want to do. Let's bring in the white, and what I might do as well, just for a little bit of fun on this, is that we're going to stick our hook back in. Okay, stick our hook back in, and every time you see a stitch, why don't you put in 2 single crochets instead? So why would this matter to you? Why would you want to do that? Well, it'll actually give the actual sleeve area a little bit of ruffle when you add in a little bit of extra material. So you can just do 1, okay, and 2, okay, and going into the next one, 1 and 2. So you could have done that for any part of the edging as well if you wanted to give it a little bit of a ruffle at that point, is just by doing something a little unique and different. So go all the way around. You're going to fasten off as you normally would, and what you need to do then is to repeat this last steps that we just did and do the other sleeve. Remember, please keep in the account that that 22 is highly critical for your success. When we come back just in a couple seconds, we are going to have this baby's sweater actually complete, and you can see what it looks like. And all you're going to have to do is add some, you can add a flower motif right at the front if you wanted to. You can add some buttons. Basically, the creativity on how you finish is completely up to you. Well, here we have everything done, and we have put on a little bit of trim on both sides of the sleeves. We did a single crochet so it opened it up just much, and what I find too, because it's slightly open too, is you can roll that up if the sleeves are a little bit too long. So overall I think it's really great. The buttons, we put hope buttons on, and a little smiley flower that we have a tutorial already for. So in the next few videos we're going to convert this into a pullover, and then we're going to add a hoodie as well. So if you're interested in that kind of pattern, stick along with me and we'll be able to do that just fine.